If you are a survivor of narcissistic childhood trauma, if you come from a narcissistic family cult, you must know that you have experienced one of the most extreme forms of bullying. Why the most extreme? Because you were not bullied by a single person, not even two people. You were bullied by an entire dysfunctional unit. Different people attacked you individually and collectively in different ways to destroy you. And that is where your first bullying experience came from. For most people, it's outside of their family. It's somebody in their school, somebody at the sports center, somewhere else. But unfortunately, for you and me, as the children of narcissistic parents, as the members of narcissistic family cults, our bullying happened in our own family. Let's talk about this further in today's episode. I am Danish, a psychologist and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. The topic for today's episode is 5 ways a narcissistic family cult operates to bully you. Number 1, you must follow the narcissistic family dynamics. You cannot say no to being controlled. You cannot not play the role assigned to you. You cannot have individuality. You cannot have a unique personality different than all the minions of main narcissists. You cannot reject gossiping. You cannot not fight for the narcissistic main parent. You cannot reject being an extension. For if you do any of these, you will be seen as a rebel. And what does that make you? What does that turn you into? A scapegoat. And what kind of treatment does a scapegoat get from the narcissistic family cult? All the abuse. Unfortunately, they are turned into the trash can. They get all the hatred, all the shame is projected on them. They become the destructive force to bring it all down for the family. They are the one to shame and to blame. They are the one causing every single problem. They're the one tearing apart the collective image of this narcissistic family cult. And the unfortunate thing is, they are cornered. They're singled out. Why? For choosing to be truthful, for calling shit for shit, for naming it as it is, for not sugarcoating it, for not playing along, for not being a hypocrite, for not kissing the behind of this narcissistic individual, the main head, or all these people who are in charge or controlling the entire environment. You have to play along. If you don't, then you get bullied. Number 2, narcissistic abuse is a team sport. It's not one or two people, it's the entire cult, as I explained earlier. You cannot expect support from anybody. If you do, you will be deceived. There is no trust, there is no loyalty, there is no companionship. Everybody is on their own. And these wolves group together to hunt you down. Like, you cannot rely on anyone at all. You cannot tell them your secrets. You cannot share with them your desires, how you actually feel towards the family. In front of you, they will make it seem like, oh, they understand you, they agree with you. But behind your back, they will gossip. They will laugh at you. They will conspire against you, which basically is backstabbing, isn't it? So that is bullying. Why? Because a family is for support. What other role does it play? You go to your family for unconditional acceptance and understanding, but you cannot find that in a narcissistic family cult. It is the opposite, which is what happens in bullying groups. These bullies get together to target you, showing no empathy whatsoever. They have a mega mind. I call it a hive mindset. It's one mega mind running the show, the queen bee, dictating how the minions are going to think, and they work on the queen's behalf. Work is, in this context, to abuse you. Number 3, and the biggest source of bullying. The perpetrators, the narcissist's comfort is prioritized over your comfort. They should not feel unstable. They should not feel the heat. They should not feel the pain. It does not matter what happens to you, how much you struggle, they should be okay. And the crazy thing is, these narcissistic minions, who so whoever enables the narcissistic family will stoop to any level to make sure that this narcissistic parent does not face or feel the discomfort at the cost of destroying your comfort. That is how the transaction happens. Somebody has to suffer, and they always choose to make you suffer by withholding money, by withholding support, by withholding communication, by disconnecting you, because they have signed a pact, an invisible pact with the narcissist, that they will unconditionally enable and support them. But they totally fail you and show you that you don't belong. They have nothing to do with you. They don't care about you. That is bullying. That is betrayal. Number 4, in my painful experience, you are forced, pressured, falsely held accountable to force you into forgiving the narcissist for the crimes they have openly committed, for the crimes they have not taken any responsibility for. The last time I took a stand for my mother against my narcissistic father, back then I thought she is the victim. So I fought for her, and I always wanted to. I wanted to protect her. Instead of supporting me, she forced me to seek his forgiveness, rather beg for his forgiveness. And he didn't even want to talk to me. He gave me the worst form of silent treatment back then. There's a scar on my face. He left that. He physically abused me. He wouldn't look at me, let alone sit near me. And she forced me to go and fall on his feet and say sorry. That is the type of bullying. That is the betrayal, because all my life she continuously instigated me. She just said that your father is this, your father is that, and she was right, because I saw it. She was not lying about anything. I saw it happening. But at the last moment, when she should have accepted that support and been on the right side, she always chose to enable him, and still does to this point. I understood that it was all about supply. She loved to be a victim, and that is the entire story. Number 5, and the last one, you are blamed for dwelling on the past, for being overly sensitive. And they do not see the narcissist's total insensitivity. Oh, forgive. I mean, come on. How long are you going to keep talking about what happened 20 years ago? Why don't you move on? Why don't you let go? Everybody moves on at a time. What's wrong with you? This is the narrative. This is what you get to hear, even from those you feel are in your corner, are on your side. They always point out how crazy you are. This is what we call communal gaslighting or collective gaslighting. Everybody tells you this is normal. This happens in every family out there. You're exaggerating issues. It's not that bad. If it is that bad, you have made it in your head intentionally to become a victim. But nobody points out the narcissist's main insensitivity, and that is what makes it a total bullying experience. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.